Well, hello. It's how to get a girlfriend, get a better girlfriend, or improve your marriage. Science-based guide on getting and maintaining a woman. So what is this? It's a science-based guide on getting and maintaining a relationship with a woman. Science-based meaning we're using the scientific method, observations, data, etc. So look, give me this 2 minutes. I really think you give me 2 minutes, you're going to stay here for the rest of the video because this is some good information you're getting here. And this is something everybody needs. Look, no bullshit here. I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm just going to tell you what I found from my findings. And you know the truth when you hear it. So why am I doing this? This topic is one of the main aspects of life, but is not taught anywhere. And I've always found that fascinating. That, this is subject matter that affects basically everybody on the planet, but it's not taught in a class anywhere. Since the internet, you can find tidbits of this information in places here and there. But this information that I'm presenting to you is not taught in the mainstream anywhere. Some information can be found online, but not as a class or science base. So, advice from women. Everyone gives you advice on relationships. How do you know whose advice is correct? You can ask women, but there is a saying, you don't ask a fish how to catch a fish. Now what that means is, fish are not going to tell you how to catch other fish. Women are not going to give you the right advice on how to actually get a woman. You notice in life, women say one thing but do another. So the woman, you have to watch their actions. You can't listen to their words, you have to watch what they do. You can get advice from men. You can ask men, but could you be getting right information or could you be getting misinformation? How would you know? Maybe the guy that's giving you advice, maybe he gives you misinformation because he wants your wife or girlfriend. So some men that I just covered, maybe they're giving you misinformation because they want your woman, or they may use that situation to make themselves look better, or they're just plain wrong. So how do you know what information is right? So look at the evidence presented here and make up your own mind. Do what works. So this is the big thing for me. This is why I have a passion for this. So I had to know the why. I've had people tell me all throughout my life, give me advice on many things, including relationships, but I've heard it all. I've heard people say, you need to get flowers and chocolates and all that. I've heard other people say, don't get flowers, and you hear everything both ways. And you have to decipher, well, what's correct, what's not correct. I always had to know the why. So I had to know the why. Why are things this way? And I think once you understand the why, the rest of it makes sense. So what are my qualifications? I'm a science professor. I have a degree in science education. I've been married, divorced. I'm a father. I'm remarried. I've had several long-term relationships. I've been on several dates. So what I'm going to say here and what I'm going to present here is going to sound like to some people misogyny or misogynistic, but I'm just going with the science of what I've collected, and that's what I'm going to present to you here. So it really all comes down to sex. Because if you're not having sex, with somebody, you're basically just friends. So sex here, this is my definition. Sex is the reward for a man being a man. Again, my definition. So, sex is a reward for a man being, quote unquote, a man. So if you're not having sex, maybe you're not a man. You can blame whoever you want in this. We can play the blame game all day long. We can argue about these things, but it doesn't change how things are, how the world is. So here, a woman wants to feel like a reward to a man who's doing man things. A woman wants to feel like her body is a reward. She is a reward to a man that is being, quote unquote, a man doing man things. So what are women attracted to? Here we got a picture. You've heard these terms before, alpha and beta. So typically, this is not 100% of women. I'm just going with the majority of what I've found. Women are sexually attracted to the alpha male personality, the alpha male type. You have a beta male here. the beta male can get a girlfriend, can be married, can have a family. Women get with this person more out of necessity. So they're sexually attracted more to the alpha. They're with the beta male more out of necessity. So if you look here, just look at the picture itself. So you look at the alpha male that's pictured here. He's standing up straight. He's standing tall. He looks confident. He's sure of himself. The beta male here looks a little more weak, like he's kind of slumped over. He's not as sure about himself. So what are the traits? I've already covered some of these. We got the alpha on this side, beta on this side. So traits of an alpha male, they're basically opposites of each other. So with the alpha male's stronger. Not just physically stronger, they're emotionally stronger, spiritually stronger, yes, and physically stronger. Alpha males are decisive. They can make decisions. Women look for this in a man to be able to make decisions. Women typically are more indecisive. There was a study that came out not too long ago saying that a woman's brain, they were comparing men's brains and women's brains. A woman's brain has 3 times the connectivity between the lobes as a man's brain does. That may answer some questions why women are not as decisive as alpha men are, because they're thinking about things, rationalizing it way too much, while an alpha man will just make a decision and go with it. The alpha male is able to replace her with another woman. He makes her feel safe. That is a big one for women. Women want to feel safe. And he's confident in himself. So again, the beta male is going to be the opposite of all that. Beta male is weaker, not just physically weaker. He may be emotionally weaker. Beta male is a little more indecisive. He's not as good at making decisions. Gets pushed around. He may not be able to replace a girl as easily. So if he has a girlfriend, he's going to treat her different because she may be the only one he can get. She doesn't feel as safe with a beta male. So women inherently know that the world is a dangerous place. So, they want to be made feel safe. They may look at a beta male and be like, if you come across some trouble, you come across some thugs, is the beta male going to protect her? Here, lastly, beta males are unsure of themselves and their vision, what they're supposed to do in life. All right, why don't women teach men how to be alpha? All right, in my research, my studies have found from surveys of multiple women that it's more attractive for a man already to be alpha than a woman to have to teach him how to be alpha. So it's kind of a paradox there, like how are you supposed to know if you don't know? But according to studies I've found, women want an alpha male who is already alpha, and she doesn't want to have to train him how to do that. Let's see, I've already covered this. Women report they would rather have an experienced man in the bedroom than a virgin man. So, you can find studies that, this is kind of opposite of what a man would want. Typically, men want a woman that's pure, is a virgin. It's apparently opposite for a woman. A woman is not as attracted to a man that doesn't have any experience in the bedroom. A guy that's knows what he's doing, he's slept with other women. This is evidently a trait attractive to women. Women do not raise their sons in the same way as their men they're really attracted to. So if you've ever noticed this, if you notice, moms are typically more nurturing to their sons. So you may notice this mom is very nurturing. She's nurturing to her son, and you sit there and think, well, maybe she could treat me that way. She can be nurturing to me. But then what you notice is the way the mom raises her son is she does it in a way, the man that she's attracted to is different from the way she's raising her son. If I explain that well enough. Let's see here. Boys without a dad epidemic. So kind of just what I've seen just in my observations. You got a lot of single moms throughout the world. You got a lot of, it's not every situation, but there are a lot of boys being raised without dads, and I think they are missing that kind of sternness you're going to get from a father. If they're getting a little coddled too much by their mom because moms are more nurturing. So then, to me, in my opinion, they're not as prepared going out into the real world, trying to, they may sit around like, well, why can't I get a girlfriend? They didn't have that strong male role model in their life. Let let me hit back on this one real quick because I don't know if I've hit that one good enough. What I was saying with the mom, with the son, and who she's attracted to. Most times, what I've noticed, a mom will raise her son to be she's very nurturing. She's always coddling the boy, so he's always being able to escape from any kind of danger. But then you see who that mom is attracted to as far as in a relationship. She typically likes a bad boy who's kind of the opposite of however she's raising her son. So I just want to kind of hit that one more time if I didn't get that good enough. Last I put here, she's sympathetic to everybody but you. So if you notice in relationships, because there is sex involved, notice these women, or not all women, notice a lot of women throughout the world are, you got to save the cats, save the dogs, you got to save squirrels, you got to save all the trees, save everything that's bad. So this woman's coming off very nurturing, very nice, but yet she'll turn to you and she's not going to nurture a man like that in any way because there's sex involved. She's looking at the man like, no, I'm not nurturing you at all. You need to get up and do all the whatever work it takes to do whatever you're doing. So where does all this come from? Well, it comes from nature through evolution. Our DNA programs us to be attracted to what is best suited for the survival of our offspring. So, many people sit around, they're like, why are women this way? Why are men this way? It's because of evolution. It's the way we've been programmed through our DNA throughout the ages. So, when you sit and look throughout the world, why are most men attracted to a similar type of woman and most women are all attracted to a similar type of man? So I know where this relates back to nature, people can sit there and think and say that, well, we're not like animals. We can make choices. We can choose whoever we want to like. Well, I mean, all that is true, but I can choose to be with a woman that's just very grotesque. But that's not what I'm attracted to. And what most men are all attracted to is the same type of woman. If you sit around and think, why are most all men attracted to the same type of woman? Why are most all women attracted to the same type of man? It's because we're programmed that way through our DNA throughout the ages. And, again, this is science-based, so we're going to have some examples here from nature. So birds and the bees. So, I guess people still talk about that. I know that was an older age thing. Women are kind of like flowers. Flowers just sit there and they're pretty. They're trying to be as pretty as they can be and smell as good as they can smell, and they're trying to attract the bees. So what we're talking about here, it's all riddled throughout just, the sperm and the egg in sexual reproduction. So, look, the egg just sits there and it's like, here I am, come get me, while the sperm all compete and try to be that one that impregnates the egg. So now that we're tying this back to nature, there's some basics of evolutionary theory. So we choose partners who genetically benefit our offspring the most, i.e. survival of the fittest, who also adapts to the best to a changing environment. Resources are limited, which creates competition. Let's see, I don't want to move too fast here. So we choose partners who genetically benefit our offspring the most. I know, people are going to sit there and think about this, and they're like, a man and a woman looking at each other, trying to figure out if they like each other. They're not thinking anything about having kids or if this is going to, this partner is going to be their best fit to better their offspring. I know people are not thinking that when they're on a date or they're learning one another, but this is what it comes down to evolutionary, is that what you are attracted to is what best benefits the offspring that you're going to have. So resources are limited, which creates competition. So I'll put an example here, like cheeseburgers. Like I can run down the street and go get a cheeseburger for like $2. They're in unlimited, pretty much unlimited supply anywhere. It's very easy to get. Everybody can get one. That's why there's not as much competition to get a cheeseburger. Now women, that's a different story. Women are more limited, or at least the availability to have sex with a woman is more limited, so that creates competition. So all these men are in competition with each other over this limited resource, which is the the access to the woman's body. Uh, Women are limited how many babies they can have. So, women are limited throughout their lifetime. They can only have a certain number of kids, even if they had kids all throughout their life. But it is a fixed number. So this is one reason why women are more choosy about who they choose to want to be in a relationship with. Men, that's a different story. Men can have impregnate as many women as they can. It's almost a little bit more unlimited, so that's a little bit why maybe men are a little less choosy when it comes to sex. Let's see here. So men can have unlimited babies. We covered that. So here's a first example from nature. Here are some birds of paradise. So I didn't show the video clip here for copyright reasons. Here's birds of paradise here. This is the male. This is the female. So I'll put a link in the description of the video if you want to see this full clip of what goes on here. But I'm going to just kind of summarize it for you real quick. So the male decorates his home to attract the female. So, and you sit here and think about this. You're like, how do these birds here with brains that are like literally like this big, how do they know to do all this stuff? How does this male know to impress the female? Well, again, it's through DNA. It's through evolution. But you watch just little animals like this, what they do in order to attract a female, and it just kind of boggles your mind. Like, they do all these things in order to try to get a girlfriend, or that they know to do all these things. So in the bird's paradise, the male decorates his home. So he'll take his little area and he'll clean it off. He'll get rid of all the branches, and he'll find maybe some fruits or something he thinks the female will like, and leave it there and dress it up because he's trying to attract a female. So this is kind of like in males. You may clean up your place. If you know a woman's coming over, you wash your car, you wax your car, you put on clean clothes, you take a bath, you look really nice. The male does his dance here. If you see here, the male's doing this dance. He's trying to prove that he's the best one to get with. So, the female's just sitting here. She's just sitting here observing, watching the male of what he's doing. So she's got multiple males to select from, and she's kind of looking like, well, who's doing their best dance? Now, if you notice here, like, humans dance. You go to a dance club and people are in there dancing, and women think, man, look at that guy there, boy, he can dance. Well, it kind of comes from here. It comes from nature. It comes from evolution. The male does all the work here in the courtship. So, women, females like to be courted, which is work. I'll put that in there. It's work for the male. While the female chooses out of the multiple males she watches. So, kind of already covered that. The female, just kind of like in the sperm and the egg, female's just kind of sitting here watching. Kind of like, all right, impress me. The male's doing all the work. But in turn, the female knows she gets pregnant by the male may skip out of there, and then she's doing all the work raising the offspring. All right, here we have polar bears. Now I'm going to kind of speed through this kind of quick because just to kind of get through it, and I'm being charged by the minute here on my data. So if I fly through this too quick for you, just go back and rewatch anything you need to. All right, here we got polar bears. The female polar bear here, she gives the inclination she wants to have sex with the male, and then she leads the male on a chase. She runs and makes the male chase her. And the reason the female's doing this, she's testing the endurance of the male. If his seed's good enough for her to be able to have sex with him. And I mean, this may go on for miles. They may go on a chase for a mile or two. And there are times that the male stops and he gives up. He's just like, you know what, forget this. I'm not even interested anymore to have sex with a female polar bear. Well, when he stops, the female stops. And she gives the inclination again, like, well, come on, let's do this. And then he thinks he's going to get to have sex again, and then they start running again. And eventually, after a very long chase, nature takes its course. All right, here we got some rams. All right, the female is off screen here. These are two male rams here butting heads. The female's just off screen here. She's just watching the fight. Now, the female's not sitting here like, oh, no, don't fight over me. Oh, you boys quit. One of y'all's going to get hurt. She doesn't do that. She lets the males fight over her. So she watches the males fight, and of course the one that wins is the one that gets to mate with the female. So in a correlation to humans, women find it hot when two men fight over them. I'm not saying for anybody to go out here and do anything illegal and not getting fist fights or anything like that, but as you notice throughout time, women do like when men fight over them. Not just physically fighting, but maybe verbally or whatever. Just giving the notion that she's being fought for. She finds that hot. She finds that attractive because it comes from nature. So the woman doesn't stop the fight. I cover that. Now the woman doesn't coddle the loser here. The guy that loses. She's not sitting there like, oh, it's okay. Let me give you sympathy. I'll be your girlfriend anyways. Doesn't happen. The guy that wins, the one that gets the girl. All right, we got chickens here. I know you all know chickens and hens. So here we got the main rooster. Here's the hens. So all the hens want to be picked by the head rooster. So all the hens are fighting for the attention. So if you've ever had any experience with chickens, the head rooster starts coming out, and all the hens start, they're all basically sitting there like, pick me, pick me. The hens are okay that this main rooster here, has sex with all these different hens at different times, different days. They don't care that he's already had sex with so many other hens. They still want him. That's attractive to them. The hens consider the rooster high value because he has access to multiple females. Examples throughout all sexual reproduction. So again, do you see all these females wanting one male, in this case, rooster themselves? No, they all have the main top rooster, the top rooster of roosters here that they're all fighting over. You see this happen throughout real life. You see most women, they all fantasize over the same type of guy that's in pop culture, that's on the cover of a women's magazine, some hot guy, and you see all women basically being in love with the same man. You don't see that happen with men as much. So what do women like based on the above examples? These are the obvious. So how you dress, I've already covered some of this in previous stuff. How you dress, your appearance, looks matter. Whoever tells you that, oh, it's okay, looks don't matter, that's the biggest load of shit that I've ever heard. Looks do matter. Now, I'm not saying you need to revolve your whole day around and all your time around how you look, but it does matter. And, you don't have to be the best of the best, but, a little effort goes a long way. Here's an example. How many poor fat guys do you see with hot chicks? Again, so your appearance. All right, you don't hide anything about yourself. We, in our culture, we'll say that you're not supposed to be judged, you're not supposed to be profiled. Well, women and men do that to each other all day long. That's just a fact of life. Like I said, you don't really hide anything about yourself. Somebody can look at you and basically know by how you dress, by how you look, by how you talk, by what you drive, house you live in, your job, and they can start piecing together what kind of type of person you are. So all that stuff matters. Let's see, women like to be courted. Kind of already covered that. Working out, that is a benefit. You should work out. You don't have to be a bodybuilder, but a little bit of, look at me, I need to work out more than I do. But I'm not going to give you false information here. You don't have to be a bodybuilder, but some working out is better than not working out at all. When people say, well, you know what, I'm just going to be me. Well, how's that, you can think however you want to think, but, how's your program worked out so far? If you're here watching this, maybe you need to consider changing some stuff. So, let's see, if you're just sitting here thinking that, hey, you know what, I'm just going to be me, well, then you're going to get beat out by the guy that's willing to put forth the effort, put forth the work to look better for her. If you want the girl, become the guy that she wants. Figure out what type of guy that she wants. A lot of girls like the bad boy, then become the bad boy. So figure out what she's into. Figure out what type of guy she likes. Figure out, what guy she likes. Try to become that guy. Try to become what she wants. So women fall in love with your face. over your body. That's probably opposite of men, but women kind of fall in love with the face first, the body's kind of second. From what I've been told from my observations and studies, from what I've heard from women, is that at least if a man has a good face, that's a body can be fixed. If the body ain't as good as the face, a body can be fixed. Basically, a face can't be fixed. I put on here, if you wear glasses, if you wear glasses, you probably want to do something about that. Maybe try wearing contacts, because, women like to fall in love with a guy's eyes. Let's see here, just be yourself. This kind of got cut off here a little bit. This last point just says, just the people that say, well, just people tell you, well, just be yourself. Be yourself, you'll find who you're supposed to. Well, it didn't, just being himself didn't work for the bird. The bird that had to do the dance. Whoever did the best dance got the girl. So again, what do women like based on the above examples? The obvious, the car you drive, she likes the bad boy image. A woman would rather share an alpha than to have a beta to herself. So, women typically would rather have to share an alpha guy than to have a beta guy they're not sexually attracted to, that she would have all to herself. Your job, your income. I'm not saying you got to make $1 million. Not saying you got to have the best job out there, but that stuff is part of it. It is important. So this shows how well you can be a provider through evolution. If you want to look at it in evolutionary terms, it's how well you can adjust to your environment. So some people say, well, that woman, if she's looking for money, then that makes her a gold digger. Well, how much money you make kind of signifies how good you are at figuring things out in life, how good you are at adapting to your environment. Again, women are looking at that based on, evolution. Every girl wants a guy that she can show off to her friends. Are you that guy? You got to think about, what can she tell her girlfriends about you? Every girl, when they sit around their circles, women are social. They're social creatures. So when they sit around their circles, they're all in competition with each other. They're like, oh, well, my guy bought me flowers. And like, oh, well, my guy bought me this ring. And oh, well, my guy took me on vacation. Well, my guy goes, on walks with me in the park. And all those women that say all those different things, they're all still jealous of each other, because the woman that got the big ring, she's jealous of the woman that her guy took her for a walk in the park. And she's sitting there thinking, well, she wants to be, go for a walk in the park. And the girl that her man took her for a walk in the park, she's jealous of the girl that got the big diamond ring. So in the girl competition, it's kind of like a girl saying that it's how beautiful she is, kind of like, I am so beautiful, I got this type of guy. That's kind of basically what they're saying when they're sitting around in their little social circles in their competition with each other. Competition is just not for men. Women are in competition with each other too. So, this is the conclusion of part 1. We're going to start getting into part 2. So if you want to see part 2, click the link in the description. The link's going to take you to a page for part 2, and you need to get part 2. If you enjoyed part 1, part 2 gets into a deeper dive of what we're getting into, the stuff that you really need to know. Now, I think it's going to be something like $1 or something, whatever I set the price at on when you click the link for part 2, unless inflation gets real bad and I end up raising the price from that. But what we're going to get in part 2 is what the woman you want is attracted to, what she's not attracted to, not the not so obvious ones. Changes you can make to achieve this, how to get your ex back, women testing you, the psychology of women in relationships, cycle of money and sex, and more. Now, if my channel grows enough, if I get enough likes and subscriptions here, maybe I could put part 2 here whenever that happens, and I can be monetized. But I'm telling you, you need this. Click on the link, get part 2. If you like this video, if you like what I've done here, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, share this content, help me out. So that's the end of part 1. Thanks for watching. Click that link and get part 2. Have a good day.